And we are wrestling with the Wednesday Night Wars. And let's start with NXT this week. I think we always
All
watch NXT
right.
anyway. Um,
Yeah, we do. It don't matter. Don't matter. No me importa.
what were your thoughts on NXT this week?
um, NXT was in that tough spot where they were coming off the Rumble and then they have their show and they're trying to build for their show after having to deal with the Rumble and then they had to deal with Worlds Collide. So it's a lot. It was a lot of fucking moving parts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a lot to try to grasp and catch up with because you're like, okay, shit, this guy's going with this guy, but then they just so it's a lot to digest right now, and they're trying to get back to where. And then it didn't help when they threw Rhea Ripley and at Raw and for the title, try to get her to go for the title, and it kind of further confused the shit with Bianca because it's like, okay, Bianca just chilling. She just gonna take this L because that's what they really want. You know what I mean? It kind of took the mystique out of that, but we'll get to that later. But overall, I see what they're trying to do. It's just that they were trying to do too much. It seems like they're trying to do too much in a little bit of time. And I think if they had to did Takeover Portland first to get those storylines out the way and then jump in the Worlds Collide, that would have made more sense. But, they were just stuck between the rock and the hard place because they always do a takeover at Royal Rumble and, they probably had this plan and they're like, shit, we got to throw something in there.
My biggest takeaway from this week's NXT was how many fish could Bobby Fish fry if Bobby Fish could fry fish?
That was good. I'm not even gonna lie. That was good. That was really good.
It seems like Matt Riddle is like super entertaining to maybe the crowd. Maybe not the most popular guy backstage.
Yeah, I mean it. But that's the thing. It's you know what, we're gonna start calling that the Enzo effect because the crowd loves him and he gets a reaction, but he may not be the best backstage. So that makes sense.
Matt Riddle's a bad person behind the scenes or anything. He's just
he's blunt. He speaks his mind. I can see it now. He's the type of dude where it's like, bro, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
A pun, blunt.
Yes, blunt. Pun intended.
Pun intended.
So, I mean, it gets him in heat. It gets him in trouble, but to me, it's not affecting his performance. So that's one of those things. It's something where he probably says something he shouldn't say, but, he's getting used to the corporate machine, and he's more of a literal stuff. So it's going to take a while to conform or even listen. So, hey, let him be.
You compared him to Ezo Amore. It kind of seems like they were just waiting for him to do something bad or, quote unquote, allegedly do something bad to fire him. Do you think the Matt Riddle's in the same boat? Do you think they're waiting to get something on him to fire him?
Oh no. No. When I say the Enzo effect, not the literal Enzo effect, I would say like where he kind of gets himself in trouble backstage, but the problem is that he's so over with the crowd with being entertaining. It kind of washes it away, right? They kind of give him a little longer leash than what they usually do. Because if he wasn't getting a pop, he would have, punishment would have been aplenty. But since he's entertaining and the crowd loves him and it gives them a longer leash than what most people would get.
And they him and Pete Dunne won the Dusty Classic last
Dusty
night.
Classic, yep.
Um, you know, starting off, seeing the brackets, I was like, what the fuck? Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne. But it just seems like these put together tag teams do really well in these tournaments.
But I think that's the point of it, right? I think that's been the point of the. It's been an emphasis of the Dusty Cup to show like, okay, and it's also an excuse to get people who probably are fledgling into tag teams, but it also gets to show like how personalities come together. Because I mean, we didn't think that they were going to win, but when they made the finals and they kind of like were at Worlds Collide and they were kind of doing their little promos and I was like, oh yeah, they're winning. It's just a matter of time because it's that odd couple thing, and it always gets over because you see Pete Dunne as a very very serious motherfucker, for
Right.
better or for worse, and you see Matt Riddle as this happy-go-lucky dude, for better or for worse, and it works perfect. It always works perfectly, but it does take two to pull it off. So and they pull it off good because Pete Dunne's stoic as hell, and Matt Riddle's just like, hey, so it works.
That being said, the Undisputed Era and AOP are the only two actual tag teams to win the Dusty Classic out of 5 years.
Yeah, and the other three were a mix of what Finn and Joe, and
Yeah.
that was to set up a storyline between them. And then you had Ricochet and Aleister Black, and then you have Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne. And keep in mind, Pete Dunne made the finals with Roderick Strong, so
Right.
there's telling you they're telling you that's the formula mixed tag team.
We also saw
So
the official debut of Mercedes Martinez. I mean, she's so good, right?
yeah, she is. But I also am gonna admit, didn't know her voice was that high pitched. I was expecting a little bit more bass, but it works out. It's okay. I was expecting a little bit more bass, like a little, because she looks menacing, right?
Right.
Like she looks like she could fuck you up, like. And then she talks, and I'm like, oh shit, didn't see that coming.
It's kind of like a
So
China effect, right?
yeah, yeah, exactly, just like a China effect. But hey, but it also just shows you it's laughable the damn depth of that women's roster. It's just the rich getting richer, man.
All right. So, what was your favorite moment from this NXT?
Um, if I could pick one, the entertainment wise, I would say the beginning of the NXT, the segment with Matt Riddle and them. The ending wise, um, I'd probably say the tag match at the end, because it's just they're just giving everybody that shine and everything, and it just shows how everything is intertwined between Undisputed Era and it's like the chaos that they caused is now coming back to bite them in the ass a little bit.
Right.
So excuse me, but and that's something that needs to be told with the group, like, hey, eventually he's gonna come get your ass. But also an honorable mention: the Johnny Gargano, uh, Finn Balor interview segment was fucking cold. Gargano was like, "Where you losing to Bobby Lashley 17 weeks in a row?" Like, damn, like, just no heart, no heart.
Yeah, Johnny
That's gonna be the
Gargano.
match of the night. That's gonna be the match of the night. I feel, but
So you picked three. I can't be fair. Pick one out of them.
Damn it. If I had to pick one, the Gargano Finn Balor.
All right, fair enough. That
Because
was a good one.
to me that's past meets present. That's former Mr. NXT against Mr. Takeover. Like it's
Johnny Takeover.
shit, Johnny Takeover. So it's gonna be interesting, and it just shows you the depth of styles that Gargano's had. He's fought. I swear, I feel like he's fought like everybody on the roster at a Takeover.
At least twice.
At least twice. Like shit. Almost fucking Champa, uh, Ricochet.
Adam Cole.
You know what I'm saying? Adam Cole. Like
Alistair Black. We could go down the list.
It's the list. There's a fucking list. And it just like he's
It's
just
not a
good.
lexicon. It's a list.
Yeah, it is. The list.
All right, least favorite moment.
Least favorite moment. I would say the Isaiah Swerve Angel Garza match.
Really?
Because and the reason, and this is why I say that, because it's either between them or the Doma Jovic and Killian Day, because it seemed like the people had they were sitting on their hands a little bit. They weren't really intense in those matches as much as you would think they would be, especially with Angel Garza, because Angel Garza kind of been on this roll, right?
Right.
And Isaiah Swerve, he came out, no one really kind of gave him a reaction. So that's why I'm saying like they kind of sitting on their hands with it. Just with that, but that's not something with the wrestlers. It's something where it's not getting captured with the audience. So to me, that's a low point.
And what moment made you want to say, I could skip this segment, I could see what's going on AEW TV right now?
That's a good question. I mean, overall, it was a solid show. Me, I watched it through, so I really didn't have that whole vibe. Because they're kind of making you want to guess, see what's going on. And that's not even us getting into the Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair,
right,
Rhea Ripley shit. You know what I mean? Right. And that, that was another thing, because it's kind of like, honestly, Charlotte just straight up, you see what I'm saying? And didn't that close the show? If I remember correctly?
No, that didn't close the show. The six-man tag did.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was just making sure. But yeah, we didn't even get through that yet. So they were hoping that the bump from Charlotte would be kind of like the bump that Becky did, but it also just shows you like people are kind of tired of Charlotte. I'm not, because to me, she's a hell of a wrestler and she makes everybody look credible. But it also kind of shows you like their main roster is top heavy, and they need to do something with that and get all the girls to matter. So, because what good is having all that talent if you're not going to have the audience have them matter?
Right. All right, now switching gear to AEW. What was your overall impression of AEW this week?
AEW was a solid show as well to me. I see what they're trying to do, because they have unlike NXT, they have this long ass way to February 29th. So they gotta keep people keep shit flying until next year, or not next year, but until the next 3 weeks or 2 weeks rather.
Well, it feels like a year.
So it feels like a year. Jesus. It does, because what? They didn't. When was their last pay-per-view?
November.
Yeah, so it fucking feels forever. They're literally doing the old school WWE pay per view, or WWF pay per view format. By that fucking matter,
Right.
but um, but it kind of makes people want to tune in, kind of like how Takeover does. So it's no different. Um, but overall, it's an okay show. There were some things that were good. Some things that they need to improve. Uh, some things that were confusing a bit. But overall, it got people entertained. I think the one thing that they have the advantage of, though, is the fact that they're, unlike NXT, they're in a different city every night. So they're getting a whole different energy vibe from the crowd. So that helps them in spades, even if the arena's not like, because people then sent pictures of the arena and how like like their tickets are not selling or whatever the case may be. I could make the argument that's pretty much all across the board because people are kind of being a little bit more frugal nowadays. But that's a whole nother topic. But um, I see what they're trying to do. It's just that they're just trying to keep people and linger. Um, but hey, they won. They won the ratings this week, so I mean they've been winning constantly, so they're getting the demo that they want. But I mean, I still don't know who the hell a major star is there, other than the usual suspects. So,
I mean, aren't they always, don't they always win the ratings war? I mean, they're
no, NXT got a couple of them. They haven't won every week, but I think NXT's best run was like heading to Survivor Series and where they were doing the whole um, brand war thing. So that was their best time. Um, but to me, I think as much as NXT is lacking in the ratings, they are the better brand as far as making their stars.
right. But
And that
that's having the
you
machine
know
behind you.
right, because granted, don't get me wrong, I love SCU, but what's the point of having best friends be the sacrificial lamb to SCU? Because if I was best friends, I think that win is needed a lot more for them than SCU, especially considering SCU gets the mandatory rematch for the tag titles anyway. So, you know, little shit like that. But
The
I
small
mean,
details.
little details. It's just a little shit. Like it's not like. And then and I feel like they also explained the like during that match too. Like they were trying to be so adept at uh, explaining the tag rules, which
Because
is
they haven't
good
been obeying
because
them.
that's another thing. You know what I'm saying? So those little shits like that, maybe not to anyone who doesn't care, but to someone who's been used to it, you're like, hey, this is
Right.
But I still think they're still trying to get their commentary together. That's another thing too. Their commentary. They're trying to get their commentary together. I feel like sometimes they're kind of out of place. They're talking out of turn. People are not hearing each other. So
Oh yeah.
and it shows. It shows. But people gonna tell you, oh, they're a work in progress, and I'm like, bro, they've been out for like a year and a half. Like
Right.
it's damn near a year. It's damn near a year. They don't get that excuse anymore. Shit.
What was the best moment from this week's AEW Dynamite?
Uh, the best. I wouldn't say there's the one that sticks out the most, but if there was one, I would say the Darby Allin segment because they just said Darby Allin has a video, then they showed Darby Allin, and then they just showed Darby Allin getting like the skateboard fucked up with his throat, and he shows his throat was still fucked up, and then he had a blowtorch, and he just started torching Sammy and Chris Jericho, which I don't know what that means. Does that mean he's going for the title? Does that mean? But it was something where it was a nice touch to him to like be like, bitch, I'm gonna get my revenge without having to say anything.
Right.
And then after the video got showed, like they didn't say shit. So I was like, okay, what do they think of this video? It just went straight to the intros of the next match, and I'm like, what do y'all think of that shit, guys? Like, I think that's a little fucking creepy. But what do you think, Jimmy? And nothing is said. You're like, fuck.
I mean, people have been asking, why why is the Dark Order doing what they're doing, yada yada yada. But where the fuck did Darby Allin get a blowtorch from? That's a question I'd like to know.
You didn't know? Bruce Pritchard said he got it from Blowtorch RS.
Oh, okay. Is that in Stanford?
Maybe.
Alright, what was the least best segment on this show?
The least. If I
Frankly,
had to
garbage.
pick the least amount of this show, um, let's see, who would it be? Because the Pac and Kenny thing would be the least. Because to me, it was like, why? Why would Pac be going after Kenny even though Pac beat Kenny? Like, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Well, no, he beat last match that they had together. Kenny beat Pac, so he wants his rubber match.
Ah. But to me, I always thought that first one mattered the most because he fucking beat the brakes off his ass, if he's asking me. But
His nipples were sharp
if
too.
you know what I'm saying, so it to me that I would have been like, I'd be pissed out of you the first time. This second time don't mean shit to me. But hey, to each his own. And then
And
when he went after Rio, and then Kenny kind of got emotional about Rio, and we all know how he feels about Rio. And then Nyla Rose came out, and they tried to powerbomb her through the table. The table couldn't break because she's like 20 pounds soaking wet. You know, little shit like that.
yeah, I agree with that. And
It,
considering that he's been torturing Michael Nakazawa for like a month now, and Kenny's done nothing about it. Oh, I'm just glad that they finally got the match. We could move on.
yeah, but I also see because he's a little busy with the elite and how Hangman Page has been distant like hell, and he's like, "Fuck y'all, I'm on my own."
Well, I could also
Hangman Page,
see Hangman Page costing Kenny the match.
that could happen, but I feel like Hangman Page is his beef is going to be more with the Young Bucks than Kenny. Uh,
Huh.
I think. I mean, it's growing with Kenny, but I think it's just like that old adage: winning cures all. So they're the champ, so he's gonna deal with it until it's time for them to fight the Young Bucks, which is gonna happen down the line. It's gotta happen down the line.
And what segment this week made you want to change the channel? Yes, no, lot to pick from.
Yeah, there we go. I would say that, like I was saying, that I was talking Jesus on you, but the Kenny Pac thing was like the thing that was like, what is this? Like, it's kind of confusing. The Dark Order after the match thing was kind of like,
I gotta go take a
because
commercial. I speeded it up.
and the only reason it's like, is because when Christopher Daniels came out and they left it, I would have went to SCU going, hey, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Because if you're trying to spread that dissension, that would be the way to spread it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, yo, what the hell? Like, how come they didn't beat you up? They was kicking our asses. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then the Cody thing, I get what they're doing, the emotional appeal, but come on, man, I'm a black kid from the South, and I got a lot of ass whoopings in my day with a belt. And if a belt can knock you, I mean, I can see a belt whooping you unconscious as a 5-year-old, but as a grown man, nah, bruh. It didn't resonate with me because I guess I got a lot of ass whoopings as a kid. So I was like, man, you passing out from the belt? Like, I got whooped with wood back scratchers that are worse than that. Like, so that's just me. That's just a personal thing. So,
All right. Well, let me
uh,
ask you this. Okay, MJF hitting him 9 times with the belt not didn't resonate. What about the one shot that Warlow gave him? Because that seemed like it really, like, wow.
but that felt like more like he was about to clothesline his ass. It wasn't the one from him I could see because that felt like a punch. But the
What if
other
all?
9,
What about if all 10 was from Warlow?
then you would say something. Because if he
Okay.
knocked your ass out at 1, and you still got 9 to go, bruh. You would have got me there. Because I and the reason and I get why they're doing it because it's just a pessimistic thing. But to me, from a size wise, I don't see I see what they're getting at, the emotional touch of the psychological warfare. But if you really wanted to like get it in, like with me, have that big dude beat his ass 10 times because that would seem more like a mismatch than
Right.
MJF, which he's a good wrestler, but hell, he's all of 5'10".
Right.
He can only muster up so much strength. You know?
Yeah.
So that's just me.
All
That's
right.
just me. But
NXT AEW. Who won the war this week?
personally, I think it's a draw.
Oh, interesting.
Because and the reason I say that because NXT is trying to do too much in a little bit of time, and it kind of distorts away from what their core essence is. AEW, they are doing good, not great. There's some things that could be improved, and they still need to have a women's division, and they need to have a better tag division, and they need to teach Sammy Guevara how to talk when he's on the bloody microphone. But other than that, you know what I mean? Like, I think both shows had their flaws. To me, it was a push this week.
All right. And that will conclude our coverage of the Wednesday